does give us that hope. It gives us that sense that there is a way out of this.
COVID-19 vaccines arrive in San Diego County.
Local hospitals could be administering the vaccine as early as today. Details on the distribution plan coming up.
It's about the people who are just fed up with government.
An effort to recall Governor Newsom is gaining momentum.
Plus a distillery in Vista where you can have your cake and drink it too. Plus they make hand sanitizer.
This year's Christmas volume has been unheard of.
Time is running out. The important deadline today if you're shipping holiday gifts. You're up with News 8.
Oh boy, we're getting close here. The countdown has begun. Whenever it's like 10 or fewer days, you can start that countdown. Otherwise, it's just too soon.
Have you done all the holiday shopping?
I think I've done most, yeah.
I
feel pretty good about where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited that we are getting closer and closer to the end of the year,
Yes.
Netta.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's, something to look forward to for everybody. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, holiday shopping, no, it makes my stomach hurt thinking about it. I have a lot of things to do. But here's a look at those skies. This is a gorgeous view. Clear conditions out there this morning. Catamaran, the shot over by Mission Bay. I mean, overall, no clouds in sight. Here is an east-facing camera where you see that sun slowly coming up. Here's that pre-dawn glow. Sunrise officially at 6:44 this morning. And then look at this beautiful shot from Mount Soledad all the way to Tijuana, Mexico. I mean, the fact that we can see that far, it's pretty impressive. It goes to show how clear it is out there. And it is also chilly out there. We do have some cool temperatures to start things off. King tides in effect yet again. So you'll see those extreme high to low tides. We will time that out for you. And then we have offshore winds picking up. Those east to west winds will dry us out. It'll be warmer this afternoon and again tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll track that next chance of very, very light showers. But we're saying there's a chance. Jenny.
Netta, I'm like you. I get very anxious and nauseous when I think of Christmas shopping. But stick around later in the show because I've got an idea for you where you can shop small, support a local distillery, and it's a really good Christmas gift, and you don't have to worry about shipping. Stay tuned. Traffic 602. Your travel times are fine. However, there is one crash that I do want to mention. I'm going to zoom in here to the 163. I know you see those delays already. So this crash is over on the southbound side, right smack near the 94. We've got a lane blocked, right-hand shoulders blocked. No word if anyone was hurt, but I'm going to show you the delay here. You can see the 163 driving through Hillcrest is down to 8 miles an hour. Back to you.
Jenny, thank you. Local hospitals could start vaccinating their staff against COVID-19 today. At least 2 facilities expect to receive doses after the first vaccines arrived in the county.
We have team coverage for you here. Chris Groh has more on how the state plans to distribute the vaccine fairly. But we begin with Evan Narani. He's live at UCSD Medical Center with what's expected to happen here today. Evan?
Good morning. That's right, Stella and Eric. There are expected to be a total of just over 28,000 doses of the coronavirus vaccine in the hands of health officials by the end of the day today. So there were the initial shipments that came in yesterday to the county. By the end of the day today, UCSD is expected to receive the next batch of doses, and Rady Children's Hospital will receive the other batch. Both of those locations, so here at UCSD Health as well as Rady Children's Hospital, they have the facilities necessary to hold those ultra cold freezers that the vaccines need to be stored in. So by the end of the day today, they'll have just over 28,000 doses, they say, and that is when they expect to administer those. It could happen as early as today, if not tomorrow, going into the rest of the week. They say they're expected to vaccinate hundreds of people each day, all the way until they get the next shipment of doses.
This is the first time in the past 7 months we actually have a very proactive way of being able to combat COVID-19. We've been very reactive. We're incredibly proud to be the first part of this and be able to get the community prepared and treated and get them vaccinated.
So while the Pfizer vaccine requires 2 doses several weeks apart, all 28,000 of these doses will serve as the first dose for county health workers. That means that they'll all be used for that first boost of immunity, and shipments that come in down the line will serve as the second shot needed. The county says that these doses will be enough to give the first shot to 72% of healthcare workers in the county. Hospitals are also expected to rotate departments of the hospital to receive the vaccine in case there are any side effects, which some have reported for up to 48 hours after the vaccine is administered. Now, Long-term nursing facilities will work with the state directly in getting their allotted amount. They say they are not included in this initial batch, so they'll work with the state directly. The state in total has 327,000 doses available. They distribute those accordingly based on the purple tier guidelines and which county needs them the most. So again, 28,000 coming here to San Diego County, and they say the next shipment beyond this could come as early as next week. I'll send things back to you.
Evan, thank you. And Naval Medical Center San Diego will also start vaccinating staff today. Frontline medical workers and essential mission personnel will receive the vaccine first. Doses are expected to start being administered at Camp Pendleton tomorrow. And the rollout of the vaccine is underway across California.
But even with the excitement and hope that it brings, there are some that have concerns if the state's plans to distribute the vaccine will be fair for all Californians. News 8's Chris Groh joining us live with what's being done to ensure an equitable distribution here. Chris?
And look, Eric and Stella, Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to do his best to speak about how this will be a fair rollout. But even despite that, you may be wondering why it is that some people may not think that that will be the case. Well, it's because there's a history of that not happening, especially in communities of color. And so that's why we're seeing this push here now that we have this vaccine for a fair and equitable rollout in distribution of this vaccine across the country. In fact, at a recent roundtable discussion, we heard Dr. Anthony Fauci highlighting the importance of understanding that skepticism and the history behind it, such as the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. And so that's part of the reason why there is a little bit of a push here now for transparency about exactly how this will be rolled out. Who will be getting it first? What communities will have access to the vaccine? And will hospitals in underserved communities be able to have that same access? So that's what people that are on this board that are pushing forward for this type of equitable treatment are trying to make sure that everyone has the answers for that.
So it really is a process of trying to dissect out what the reasons for the skepticism are and to try and address them individually, fully respecting the underlying skepticism that you have every reason to have for historical reasons, to balance those two. That's how I would approach it.
And of course, at a basic level here, we know, for instance, how the state will roll out those first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, going to frontline medical workers, and then eventually working their way into nursing homes and those who work there, and then eventually frontline workers such as police officers, firefighters, teachers, and others who continue to work to keep our state and also our country moving. But again, we're also hearing from Governor Gavin Newsom at least a bit of assurance here that this will be a fair rollout of this vaccine. Eric and Stella.
Chris Groh reporting live. Thanks, Chris. To keep up to date on the vaccine and when it will be available here, just text the word vaccine to 858-571-8888 and you will get a link to all of our latest stories. County health officials are reporting 2,206 new coronavirus cases. That's about 10% of the 21,000 tests. 41 more people were hospitalized with COVID. Local available ICU capacity is at 17%. But capacity dropped to just 2.7% for Southern California's region. No new deaths were reported. That total remains at 1,162. At 6:08 here, let's get your morning rush. A 17-year-old is under arrest in connection to the murder of a woman in Carlsbad. 68-year-old Lisa Thorberg was stabbed to death on the hiking trail last month. The teen was arrested yesterday afternoon near the beach in Carlsbad. Police are not releasing a motive and have not identified the suspect since he's a juvenile.
The El Cajon police have released this picture of a suspect in a hit-and-run crash that left an officer with serious injuries. Yesterday morning, the officer found a vehicle blocking the road with the driver asleep. Police say the driver presented a fake ID, then started the car and took off, dragging the officer until he was hit by a passing car. The suspect was identified as David Pangilinan. He is 41 years old, 5'6". He's 200 pounds with brown hair. You see a picture of him right here. Call police if you have any information.
The San Dieguito Union High School District Board will meet today as they gear up to reopen. 13,000 students will head back into the classroom in a hybrid model starting on January 4th. Some parents and teachers are calling the district's plan rushed and unsafe as COVID cases skyrocket countywide. Checking on the forecast now, here's Ned on with how things are looking on a Tuesday.
Well, good morning. We're looking at the Hotel Del camera right there, and look at those big waves rolling on up over across the sand yet again today. So shrinking our amount of beach space out there because we do have this third final day of those king tides. In fact, taking a look at our surf right now, 6 to 7 footers for our beaches. That's pretty big for San Diego. So we have high surf, but also high tide is coming. So right before 9 a.m., that's when things are really going to peak all the way up to 7.5 feet at 9 a.m. and then we'll go way, way low around 4 this afternoon down to negative 1.8 feet. So the moon closest to the earth aligned with the sun. So we see these big changes from high to low tide. We also have a swell coming through, and that's been coming around, but today it's building. It's actually peaking. So that's why we could see 3 to 6 foot, even 7 foot waves out there. There's a beach hazard statement in effect through this evening, all because of these king tides and that high surf. Elevated surf out there increases our risk of rip currents. Something to keep in mind if you were planning on hopping in the water. Here's a view from Mount Soledad for you. And I mean, overall, just really gorgeous out there. We have crystal clear conditions, and that's also why it is so chilly outside, especially in Ramona, where you're below freezing. 38 in Poway, 48 in Del Mar, 48 in Carlsbad. That is a cool start to the day, but this afternoon it will be warmer, upper 60s, low 70s for most of us. Jenny.
So we actually have Chopper 8 live right now up over a crash that I mentioned in my last report. So I know it's a little bit dark, but what you're seeing is the 163. This is right near the Laurel Street Bridge, so kind of near the 94 there. This is a crash that happened on the southbound drive at about 5:40 this morning. So it's a new crash. We've got a lane blocked. It looks like crews are blocking that right-hand shoulder as well. We can stick on the shot. I know it's dark, but you can see those headlights there causing those delays, not causing those delays. But this is as you're driving through Hillcrest. So that southbound 163 completely slammed down to about 8 miles an hour. This is about a 4 or 5 mile stretch. So if you are hopping on the 163, keep that in mind. Northbound drive, I'm not seeing any issues. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen, moving along just fine. No updates on injuries, but we'll continue to keep you posted on this particular crash. Up on our maps, other than that, everything is nice and quiet. No major crashes reported in the North County.